Hey, what is going on, guys? In this video today, we're going to be going over 7 advanced controller Fortnite tricks used by the pros. Now, even though I'd say most of these tips are fairly advanced, even if you're an average player, I don't think they're advanced enough to where you'd have no shot to implement them into your game. Obviously, it varies depending on the tip a bit, but I don't think too many people will be overwhelmed by what you see in this video. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Alright, so the first tip in this video is the shotgun RPG aim assist combo. This is a trick that isn't brand new, but it was initially made popular by legacy players like Wavy Jacob and Unknown Army. The way this trick used to work was you'd shoot an RPG at an enemy hiding behind a wall, then right as the RPG hit the wall, you'd press L2/LT to get the aim assist snap on, and then you'd shoot the shotgun. If you timed it right, it was a great way to get a free 50 plus damage depending on the shotgun you had, and the enemy would be totally clueless as to what even just happened to them. Now, when Legacy was removed from the game a few months back, I just assumed that the RPG shotgun trick died with it because you could no longer get the snap-on. But a few weeks back, I was watching Wolfie's play, and I was absolutely shocked how frequently he used the trick whenever he got an RPG. He simply lined up his crosshair with where the enemy was behind the wall, shot his RPG, and then fired the shotgun as soon as it hit. You'd think it wouldn't really work without the snap-on, but based on what I saw, it was still absolutely deadly. And when you think about it, no matter how good the player behind the wall is, this is pretty much an impossible tactic to stop. Even if you know it's coming, you can't just hold down your turbo build button, because due to the slight delay between pieces being placed, if timed correctly, the shotgun shot will still hit, and there's really nothing anyone can do about it. Our next trick is one that I see used most frequently by Unknown Army. So a few weeks back, I made a video about Unknown's playstyle, and the number one thing that stuck out to me about him was his insane piece control, and I pointed out a few different things he did involving that skill. But there's one thing I missed that I just needed to include in this video. So what most players do when they go to place a cone or ramp inside an enemy's box is they first take their wall, then they make a bottom 3 or 4 tile corner edit, and then they place the cone/ramp. That definitely isn't a terrible plan or anything, but it does leave you fairly exposed, and since you have your building menu out, it's not like you can immediately return fire if your enemy just pre-aims that spot and shoots you with a shotgun. So what Unknown does a lot of the time is he'll make a 1-tile window on either the middle left or middle right side of the wall, and then he'll place the ramp or cone through that small little edit. And with the way the building grid works, you can actually do that without exposing even the slightest part of your body. So it does require you to be a little quick with the edit and placement, but even if you mess it up, you aren't really risking anything, which is definitely good news. The next tip is probably one of the most simple ones that you'll see in this video. So if you play or watch Fortnite at all, I'm sure you're aware that right now the meta of the game is to jump into people's 1x1s and spray SMGs. It's super overpowered, and since SMGs destroy builds so quickly, if an enemy gets in your box, it seems like there's really nothing you can do to save yourself. Luckily, I recently heard about an interesting little tip that's really helpful in that scenario. If an enemy gets inside your box, what most people will do is reactively build a ramp to give themselves one last layer of cover. But like I just mentioned, if you sit behind that ramp and turbo build it over and over again, eventually the enemy is going to get through, and then it's a GG. However, if you move around while turbo building so that the ramp is constantly being placed at different angles, the enemy is much less likely to actually phase through it when they destroy it. And as you may have noticed in that Let's Shake clip I just showed, if you're smart about it, you can use this trick to safely move from the back of your box all the way to the front. What that does is it allows you to escape without editing or destroying anything, because your enemy obviously either destroyed or edited that front wall to get inside the box in the first place. So that's a tip that really takes no mechanical skill at all, but could definitely save your life in a lot of situations. This next advanced trick is one that you'll see really good players use fairly frequently to rush and eliminate players in close range fights. So let's say you want to push an enemy that's maybe 10 to 15 meters away. So that's definitely what I'd still consider a close range fight, but it's that really awkward range where it's too far away for a shotgun, probably a little too far away for an SMG, but also it feels too close for an AR. What most good players will do in this situation is try to close the gap and get right in the enemy's face. Now obviously you don't just want to run straight to them because they'll shoot you, but if you're inside a building, it's not like you can just bust out a crazy ramp rush or you'll get blocked by the ceiling. So that's when you want to use this trick where you place walls in front of you and then edit through them while sprinting the entire time. If you're able to do it fast enough, it'll almost be impossible for the enemy to damage you at all. And what happens most times is the enemy will shoot for a second or two, see it isn't working, and then they'll just turn around and try to escape. At that point, you have them right where you want them, and it should be a super easy kill. This does require you to be able to edit relatively quickly, but it's mostly just simple bottom corner edits, so it shouldn't be too difficult. The next trick is another one that's really powerful when an enemy is attacking your 1x1 and you're forced into a defensive position. So I first saw this used a couple of months back from Wavy Jacob when he was playing Cash Cups, and it takes advantage of the fact that the ramp building piece is transparent when you edit it. So what he does first when he notices the enemy's trying to replace his front wall is he places a ramp in front of himself, which is totally normal. The enemy won't find that weird at all. But then instead of trying to turbo build the front wall, you instead edit the ramp and then hold the edit that cuts it in half. What'll most likely happen then is the enemy will break and replace the wall and edit it, but when they see you're just hiding behind your ramp, they're probably gonna get aggressive and start trying to spray you. As soon as you see them expose themselves at all to do that, you simply confirm the edit, and then hopefully your aim is good enough to hit them with a high damage shotgun shot. I think this is a really smart trick because your risk level while doing it really isn't high at all. Even though you can see everything going on in front of you perfectly, you're still really protected by the ramp the entire time. And in terms of the mechanical skill required to pull this trick off, not very much at all, honestly. Moving on, let's take a look at another ramp editing trick that's fairly similar to the last one, but instead of countering an enemy attacking your wall, this one counters an enemy trying to get into your 1x1 through the roof. So for this trick to work, you need to start by placing a backward facing ramp in front of you. What this does is it makes it so that when the enemy gets through your roof, they land on top of the ramp that you're under instead of right next to you. Then you want to hold the edit to flip the ramp from backward to forward. Again, just like with the last trick, even though you can see everything going on in front of you as if there were no ramp at all, you're still going to be protected when the enemy drops down. So once the enemy breaks through the roof and does drop down, you then want to move forward as much as the game lets you and then confirm the edit. What'll happen is the ramp will flip and put you right in front of the enemy before they can even really react to what just happened. Since the ramp is separating the two players the entire time, you can see the other guy perfectly and sort of pre-line up your shot, but the enemy is pretty much blind as to what's going on until it's too late for them. So this one definitely requires a combination of good mechanics, good thinking, and good timing, but if you can execute it perfectly, it's an absolutely nasty play. The final trick I want to quickly showcase in this video is one that involves the RPG Harpoon Combo. I believe the person that really made this trick popular was Mr. Savage, but I first saw it from Colazzo. So the Harpoon is basically like a bootleg heavy sniper when it comes to destroying builds. It deals an instant 150 structure damage from any range, which means it instantly destroys fully built wooden walls and also brick or metal walls as long as you shoot them within about 3 seconds of them being placed. This can be absolutely deadly when combined with an RPG. You would shoot the RPG at a wall and then destroy that wall with the harpoon right as it's about to hit. If done correctly, the RPG will hit the enemy and be almost uncounterable even if they try turbo building to stop it. Plus, unlike with the heavy sniper, the harpoon has no reload time, so even if you mess up, you can try again with almost no delay whatsoever. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you watched the entire thing, be sure to let me know with a comment down in the comment section below. This video showcased a bunch of different tricks used by controller Fortnite pros, so I want to know, who is your favorite controller Fortnite pro player to watch as of right now? For me, I'd probably say Unknown Army or Scoped, but I'd love to hear from you guys. Be sure to leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, turn on post notifications, do whatever the heck you want, and I will catch you guys next time.